Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here with a channel update. So we're gonna kind of go through what we're gonna have on the channel, but also some issues I've had with a couple of campaigns. Actually, just one campaign in particular. So I did finish Mother of Us All. I don't know why I went on a binge on playing it, and it was like the game I was so close to finishing, but yet so far, kind of pulling me. But I literally play this entire campaign on Monday, like Sunday, Monday. So we're done with that. And at the end of the day, what I thought about is I need a couple weeks break from CK3, and this is probably the best way to do it. One of the longest campaigns already out. Uh, so by the time we get back to it, we're starting on the Norse content at that point, the northern flavor stuff. So we gotta start getting that achievements. I think we got 13 left, and I think we could do three in the next one, next playthrough with that. So we'll kind of have to look at it. And it's probably going to be one where we have an episode 0 where we're trying to figure out exactly how we can get something and if we can get something to spawn. One of them in particular is adventure as a dwarf and conquer somewhere in the Mediterranean, I think it is, or maybe there's not conditions on location. And I'm not sure if there is a dwarf role in uh, in the Norse area. Plus, we might have to venture a couple times to get there, to get down to do faster than the fox. But we'll kind of see then. Sansa, it's going great. We'll have that campaign continuing. I did record a couple episodes last night. First one was out today. So we'll keep going with that. Started our Days Gone playthrough. Depending on how I'm feeling, sinuses are really kicking my ass today. I might do some more, but it's not going to be obviously at 12. It's just going to be, we'll have it at stream, and I like to stream more at night than anything, so we'll kind of see how that goes. So with Madden, continuing this franchise, Bears Fields franchise, I'm enjoying it. Been pretty fun. So that's going to be continuing. No issues there. Some funky little AI issues, but nothing in particular that's abnormally high. As in, when I first tried to do this with no sliders, with the base on next gen, the CPU was just throwing the ball deep, but out of bounds deep all the time. At least at this point, they're not doing as much. But it was like I had a part where they literally did two throws deep out of bounds, one throw to get the first down, two throws deep out of bounds, one throw to get the first down, and then two throws deep. It just got out of control. Where on one drive they threw deep so many times that if it wasn't for converting, you wouldn't have saw it. But it became pretty obvious that there were some issues, and that's why we used Mat 10 sliders, which kind of account for some of those issues. The Oakland A's franchise, I kind of went overboard on that as well, but I did expect to be out of town next week. It's going to depend on how my sinuses and how this is all going. Sinus season, it is May, and typically this time of the year, sinuses kick my ass. So, hey, we'll kind of see how it goes. But at the least, we'll have some CK3 and some MLB The Show if recording stuff for this time. We'll kind of see. Now Grand Tactician. So my campaign, if you haven't seen episode 12, you can see some of the wonky stuff that's going on. In the 1863 campaign, the AI is building 11 to 13, I forgot which number, but it's 11 to 13 supply depots, which not only hamper the campaign, but it's holding some of their forces that they would normally reinforce with. On top of that, it also gives me an indication of where their forces are, which we kind of knew to begin with. But it's actually preventing the AI from bringing a force against us where we should lose a battle. And I'm not even pressing the attack. I didn't press the attack in Tennessee. I didn't press the attack at Fredericksburg, which they should have been able to muster 100,000 to 120,000 against us. But for some reason, the AI only threw equal numbers at us. Only threw 60,000, which I thought was strange. From the standpoint that they're building a depot there, and that's why they didn't move those forces down at us at Fredericksburg. That's why they're not pushing at Vicksburg, even though there's a supply depot right there. The supply depot's range is not there, so I understand why the AI is building the supply depots, because they're out of range of the forces there. But then you had a situation where they were building 2 supply depots in Tennessee, southern Tennessee near Corinth, that were within supply range of each other, but because the forces were just outside of that, neither supply depot would have actually got both forces, and the AI isn't smart enough to just move those forces into supply range. So, at that point, we're not getting attacked. I played for about a month in game time. Past that, and the AI didn't move anything at that point, because all their forces that haven't actually been in combat are building supply depots, and they can't move, otherwise the supply depot doesn't get built. So I think we're going to go ahead and end that campaign there. I think that's an update failure. And I mean failure as in they updated the game and it caused a previous game state to fail. Not saying it's a fail on the dev's part by any means. But it's a save game corruption in a way. I then started as a union, and the CSA actually gave us, in that one episode, they literally gave up their entire left flank in Virginia to allow me to just walk around them and go to Richmond. So that's messed up. Also, one we might just do just for the hell of it, just to kind of relax, see what happens, because I do want to play some more Grand Tactician. I know there's an issue with the 1861 campaigns at the beginning of the war, so the spring, and then the summer one as well. But it also extends through all the other times until probably 1863, because the militia acts are already researched at that point, I think. So what happens, the AI has an issue of prioritizing policies to an extent. So as CSA, what we'll have to play is a wildly defensive campaign, except against Kentucky and Missouri. But obviously then that's still subject to some debate. But what happens is the AI doesn't prioritize militia act 1 to 2 to 3 before their recruitment times expire. So Militia Act 1 is 3 months. For some reason, what will happen is the AI will not prioritize Militia Act 2 within those 3 months. As the player, we know that those troops contracts are gonna expire. We don't want those troops to leave the field. So we immediately do 2. Well, the AI doesn't do that. And what happens sometimes is at that 3-month period, you'll see the Union forces drop, or the AI forces drop, significantly because they have not researched Militia Act 2, and then they have to re-recruit forces on the field. And that's why sometimes you'll have a huge recruit buff at the beginning, and then it'll look like they're in a death spiral, but they're really not. Because it's not a death spiral, it's the fact that their troops are out of contract. So that's something that I think we'd have to wait. And I think as a CSA, with the AI being Union, we might be able to, in a start of the war in 1861 campaign, a summer 1861, or spring 1861, mitigate those issues and kind of go from there. Or, yeah, summer 1861 campaign. What we'll have to do is, in the first months, we'll kind of hold ourselves to not attack. We'll kind of sit back, we'll kind of build our supplies, we'll just kind of sit there and wait. To allow the AI to fundamentally figure itself out, get the troops on the field, start recruiting, and in that meantime, what we'll do is I'll let the game kind of run. We'll recruit a couple forces, which we will name. I'll get some of your guys' units in there that I already have. We'll put those in. We'll slowly recruit them, and we'll kind of just chill at that point. So with that episode, maybe it'll be a live stream chill episode. We'll just wait, and then once we start getting into some grooves, into some battles, things like that, and the AI's kind of figured itself out, barring any more updates, we'll kind of go back to the episode format. I think that's probably the best way to do it. And it might be a little wonky when I have Grand Tactician stream, and then I stream later another game. We'll figure that out. But ultimately, I'll get the first episode out tomorrow. We'll kind of see how that one goes. May not be at 10, but it'll kind of be later on the day. So that will be it. One thing I do want to add to this is I got back into some more War Thunder. Gotta love War Thunder. Love it. And I think I'm going to be streaming some War Thunder here or there. I have the US up to 6.3. The Germans up to 5.7. But I don't have any of the other nations up. And I think I'm going to do some grinding of the Soviet tanks, the Russian tanks. But I want to do that kind of chill, laid back, live stream type deal. We'll kind of see how that goes. So that's your channel update. I'm not sure if I'm going to be away for this portion. It's a fishing trip for a week. But we'll kind of see how that goes. And how I'm feeling at that point. It might be one of those where at the beginning portion, maybe these days I'm here and then I drive up since it's relatively close to home. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But at the end of the day, I'll put out another channel update somewhere in here. So we'll kind of see how everything goes into this. But don't worry, we'll still have content on the channel. I'll still be able to answer all of your comments, things like that. So very decently long update. We had a lot of stuff to go through. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. One thing I do want to say is we're 10 away at this point. 10 away from 1,000. You guys have really been doing a great job. Really appreciate it. So keep on pushing. And I will see you guys in the next video.